first of all, I love how words make sounds. Words play against one another when read out loud. And I think that's why I really love to write picture books, because picture books are not only pictures, but somebody's reading the text out loud, and the words are a lot of fun. The other thing is that I love the natural world, and I spend a lot of time outside, and I love creatures from big to little, animals, plants, and I even rescue earthworms in my driveway after a rainstorm when they're all over the ground. I can't bear the thought that the sun will come out like it has today and they might dry out, or I might run over them. So, and I take spiders from upstairs and put them in cups and take them out the door. So that's the kind of thing that I do. So walruses weren't really on my radar until 2017, when I was at a event in New York, Book Expo, and I was talking to my agent about what animals I might write about, because I do like to write about different animals. I've done rainforest colors and ocean counting for National Geographic. So my agent actually mentioned walruses. So that night in my hotel room, I started listening to walruses. And remember back to what I said about how much I love the sound of words. I'm going to, if you can let me share screen now, I want you to listen to something just for a minute. And so let's see, where is that? Here we go. So it might be kind of loud. So close your eyes and don't jump. Can you hear that? It's
yes.
Yeah, it makes me laugh too, Tim. Okay, I'm not going to do this for 10 hours, but just for another.
The diversity of their sounds is amazing.
Okay. Okay, so wait a minute, I gotta go back and
oh, come on, keep him in the back, keep him in the background for the whole time.
Hold on. Oh, here it is. Wait a minute.
It's funny, it's so like natural to think of when you see that big body and their big chest and the blubber, the big guttural growls seem,
yes,
hey, that seems normal coming out of that beast.
Right.
But when they pucker up their lips right down to a little high-pitched whistle or something like that, that's when, it's amazing.
So that was the start. That was the start, listening to that video. And then I went on and did more research about walruses, and every single fact was more interesting than the other. So when I read this book, it is a narrative nonfiction. So there's a story. It's basically you're visiting walruses in the Arctic. But at the very end of the book, here are all the walrus facts. And I think I will bore you today if I were to sit and just read all that text. So I just need to tell you a few things more about walruses before I read the story. And one of them is that walruses love to eat clams. So here, a clam is a bivalve. That's the name of the classification of animals, and bi means two, and valve is each of the shells. So this bivalve, when it was alive, was tight together, and it's got a hinge here, and it opens and closes. And clams are one of the favorite meals for walruses. In fact, they can eat like 4,000 or 5,000 in a feeding frenzy, because walruses have very thick 4 to 6 inches of blubber to keep them warm in the Arctic. So they need to eat a lot. So Tim has got a little video about clams that he's going to show you now, just so you can understand a little bit more about what a clam looks like, and that the walrus actually sucks out with a tongue motion, suction, takes the whole inside of the clam out and eats it whole. And he does this very quickly.
It's absolutely stunning how they can get that big, huge mouth of those tusks somehow perfectly wrapped around a clam in just the right way to suck the meat out of that shell. Like, I don't know how they do it. And they leave, Janet and I talked about the word shucks, not only bivalve, but shucks, because in the book they leave shucks. So a clam, when you take the shell off, you're shucking it. And I'll show you right here. I'm going to share this. Where did it go? Hold on one second. We just had that. Let me open up Keynote. Okay, can you guys see that yet? Not. Hold on.
Did you start with screen share? You have to click on share my screen.
Okay, I did, and then I didn't see my, okay, here we go. Hold on one second. Okay. It was down there. Okay, share screen. Okay, there it is. Share. And here. Do you guys see that?
Yep, I see.
Yeah, okay. Okay, so play. Go. Okay, here we go. All right, so there's their valve. They stick their neck out to filter little micro, like plankton and things like that, and they suck their neck in if they have to hide. And we're going to see what one looks like right now. Now imagine that walrus. He's going to suck that whole thing out of there. How? How do they do it? And probably a lot of times the shell is just left there perfect. So I'm cutting these little muscles that kind of hold the shell together. You can see right at the sides there. So there's a shucked clam. Let me go back to stop sharing so I can get out of there. Okay. So that's a shucked clam. What about the life of a clam living in a shell in the mud? And those walruses go down to the bottom, these big deep dives. And I guess we'll talk about this later more, but I get excited right now to illustrate that, how they dive down to that icy, dark, cold bottom, and they use their huge breath of air and their whiskers to feel where these like holes are and things for where the clams live, and they puff these huge puffs of their own air, using up that precious air down there and their tusks to kind of blow out the sediment and get these clams. And in the book, you'll see, now that we've talked about bivalves and shucks, there's a part where Janet's going to get to where you're going to see the walrus dive to get these bivalves and then shuck them.
All right, I bet everybody's hoping to hear the book by now. So the only other couple of facts I want to share is that walruses have these huge tusks that can grow to be 3 feet long, and they use them to haul out. They pull themselves up onto the ice, and they also use them to chip holes in the ice. And walruses, when they get out on the ice, they're very awkward. You can see they have front and back flippers, and they have to take their back flippers and flip them forward so that they can walk. They walk similarly to a seal when they're out on ice. They also can change color. They mostly look the way Tim has illustrated them, kind of a cinnamon color brown. But when it's very cold, they might look gray or even white because they don't have enough blood flow going to their outer skin.